Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Vanguard units, and minor Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters. This is my first top 10 video. For a long time I thought, nah, I don't feel like making top 10 videos, it's either too difficult or I just don't feel like it. Well, lately, I really felt like making some. So I was like, okay, top 10 cutest Pokemon. Then I figured, no, I don't want to do that first. I want to do favorite Pokemon before I do cute Pokemon. But to choose 10 Pokemon from 718 is kind of difficult, and I thought, wait, immediately doing the older Pokemon? No, that's not right. So what I'm going to do is do top 10s for each generation, from Generation 1 up to including Generation 6. Each one's separate, then I'll have more content, more things to discuss, and then from those top 10s, it's a lot easier for me to make the overall top 10 from all 718 Pokemon, because choosing 10 out of 718 is a lot more difficult than choosing 10 out of 60. I'd say. So here is my top 10 favorite Pokemon from Generation 1. Now I should note that these top 10 videos, they won't all be about Pokemon. I expect most of them to be, really. Some will be about Yu-Gi-Oh! Why do they keep saying that while I'm busy? Here are Pokemon. Some will be about Yu-Gi-Oh! But most, and some other things, but yeah, most will be about Pokemon. I'll be using the red, blue, and yellow sprites since this is Generation 1 after all. Let's go into it, alright? Top 10 favorite Pokemon from Generation 1. What does Auka think? Before we start, I'm going to give you a few seconds to just guess what Pokemon are in there, what Pokemon is number 1. And in the comments below, please let me know what you thought would be in my top 10 or would be my number 1 and that you're really surprised by. Something like that. Let me know. Gonna give you a few seconds to think. Right, you know what? Let's just go and reveal everything now. Number 10! Seadra. Now, my favorite type is the fire type, and electric type was for a long time my second, but lately I've been like, wait, grass I also like, and water. I suppose the thing I like about Seadra, and that is, I guess mostly visible in the official artwork. And by the way, I'm doing green sprite, blue sprite, yellow sprite, official artwork. I suppose it looks really swift in the water, like with his fins on the back and like these things on its chest. That it looks like it can go really fast. And what I also like is just the way it has its nose or its snout or whatever you want to call it, that it can shoot things out of, like Bubble Beam. Like, I really recall playing Pokemon Stadium 2, Seadra using Bubble Beam. I thought that just looked really cool. And yeah, those kind of things that I think look cool. It's the memories I have with it in games, its moveset, its design, everything can count for these Pokemon to get in top 10. And Seadra, I suppose its design looks really cool. The way it can shoot like bubble beams out of its snout, whatever, and it looks fancy, I think. The official artwork is definitely my favorite out of these 4. Alright. Let's go to the next one. Number 9! Caterpie! Yay! If you follow my stories, like if you listen to my stories about how I played Pokemon Y, you know I played with Caterpie. I really like Caterpie, especially like when I started that game and you got into the first forest. You got your new Scatterbug there, but there were also Caterpie and Weedle, old Pokemon you could catch in Viridian Forest. In the original games, you can catch in that forest. And I caught Caterpie, and I just really wanted to use a little bugs. I also used Scatterbug and evolved in Vivian. I was like, I'm gonna keep Caterpie. I trained Caterpie up to level like 99 or 100, faced the champion with it, and it beat the final Pokemon of the champion on its own, and it dodged the Moonblast with love because of the Pokemon in me. I love some of the like little cutesy Gen 1 Pokemon. I suppose it is a nostalgia factor, yeah, but I have very good memories with Caterpie, and I like it. I like Caterpie. That's just what it is. Number 8! Arcanine. Now, as I said, the fire type is my favorite Pokemon type. However, of the 12 fire types in Generation 1, Arcanine's the only fire type on the top 10 list. Now I know there'll definitely be more fire types, and at the moment, my favorite Pokemon overall is a fire type. That's the only one I already know from that. So you'll have to wait till later generations to see which one that is. Those that know me quite well and me about Pokemon know what Pokemon I'm talking about. But Arcanine would be my favorite fire type from Generation 1. I think his design is cool. It has his mains. My favorite sprites of it, I would say, are in Gold, Silver, Crystal. But yeah, this is the Gen 1, so I use the Gen 1 sprites. I like his design, like how the black stripes go over his back, the fur on its legs, both front and hind legs. Later generations, it could learn Outrage, Wild Bolt, Extreme Speed. That made me like Arcanine a lot more. Like, if we just look at Generation 1, then I suppose I like Arcanine not as much, but I'm taking everything that I know into account, and the fact that it can learn so many new cool moves and it still looked fierce and cool while doing that made me like Arcanine quite a bit. Number 7! Nidoran Male. Yeah, I expect for the rest of the top 10s, which I, by the way, haven't made yet, I expect quite a few, like, Stage 0 and Stage 1 Pokemon to be in there. And I call it Stage 0 because in the Pokemon TCG, Stage 1 is the first evolution, so Stage 0. I expect quite a few of those Pokemon to be in there. Nidoran Male, yeah. You could catch it on the... Not on the... You couldn't catch it on Route 1. You could catch it on Route 22 in Red, Blue, and Yellow. I like Nidoran Male. It's strong. For one, when it evolves into Nidorino, but especially when it becomes Nidoking, it can learn a lot of different moves. I almost always caught a Nidoran Male as soon as I could. Especially in Yellow, it is very useful because with Pikachu against Geodude and Onix in the first gen, that's not very um, easy. So you make use of either the Nidoran male or female that you can catch, or the Mankey with low kick, and use one of those to go super effective, because the Nidorans can learn double kick. I did go with Mankey every so often, but Nidoran was almost always on my team. It's a lot of fun, and another thing that I really like about it, where Nidoran female starts with, I believe, Tackle, and then learns Scratch at like level 9 or something, which is like plus 5 accuracy, plus 5 power. Nidoran male gets Horn Attack, which is almost double the power of Tackle, and it's still 100 accuracy. Sure, it doesn't get Stab, but that early on, already have a move with base power 65? That's strong. And next to that, I just like Nidoran male's design. It looks kind of cool. Like the little teeth at the front, I think it's kind of, in a sense, it kind of looks cute. There's some really cute anime pictures. I wanted to put some of the anime pictures on there, like for Caterpie as well, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go with these sprites and the official artwork. But yeah, I like Nidoran. Number 6, Ivysaur. Ivysaur would be my favorite Pokemon out of all the starters of Gen 1 and their evolutions. And I especially realized this while I was playing through Pokemon Y, because no, it wasn't actually Pokemon Y, it was Pokemon X. Because in Y I actually took Squirtle, because I like Blastoise' Mega Evolution more. But Ivysaur, I would say, is my favorite. Ivysaur is the one that learns Razor Leaf, which, especially in Gen 1, is really good because always crit pretty much. Ivysaur learns the powder moves. I just like Ivysaur's design the best. I really like the official artwork as well. The green artwork, as with many, is really weird. Here it can stand on his hind legs. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, I just really like it. When I was playing through Pokemon X, like, obviously Ivysaur got Venoshock, because I tried to fight the TM, and that looks just really cool how it just Venoshock on many of his moves. Ivysaur looks fancy. I like Ivysaur. Number 5! Graveler. I quite like Geodude and Graveler, both of them. I had to decide, and I went with Graveler. I like Graveler more than Geodude. Graveler is cool, sturdy, rock and ground Pokemon. The evolution of the first Pokemon you'll encounter in a gym battle, Brock's Geodude. And the thing about Graveler, like with many Pokemon, they are strong, but there's some moves that they just do not learn. Like some stat moves, there's some water Pokemon that don't learn Hydro Pump. They don't learn anything better than Water Gun. So you'll have to teach them Surf via HM or Hydro Pumps through whatever other method, if there even is one. Fire types that don't learn Flamethrower or Fire Blast. Graveler, it learns both Rock Slide and Earthquake. And it learns Self-Destruct. Pretty sure it also learned Explosion. So, this guy was powerful. It has a lot of defenses. Sure, you'd have to be careful of grass and water types. But you'd have your, I don't know, ice, flying, fire, grass types, electric types, whatever, you'd have them in the back to switch into that. Graveler was a cool, sturdy Pokemon. 4 arms, even though the blue sprite doesn't really show that, but 4 arms. Powerful, could throw some punches, throw rocks at your face, and it could turn into a ball and make Rollout actually look legit. Graveler is one of the few Pokemon from which I believe in the Stadium 2 animation actually was itself when it was rolling out, and it didn't randomly turn into a ball of rock. It actually stayed itself when it did roll out. So yeah, Graveler's number 5. Number 4, Kadabra. A good amount of psychic types in Generation 1. In Generation 1, Psychic was obviously the very overpowered type. And out of those, Kadabra would have to be my favorite. I like Kadabra because of his hand and his spoon and like the way he does things with that. When I was thinking Kadabra Alakazam, I just like Kadabra more. I suppose its tail has something to do with it. I like the tail behind Kadabra. And the markings on both his head and here on the bottom chest area, I do just like how they add something. Because with Alakazam, it's really just yellow and brown, and that's it. With Kadabra, it's yellow and brown, and there's some extra reddish, pinkish, depending on which artwork you take, to add something to it. And I think with its claws here and its toes, it looks sort of scarier than Alakazam. And Kadabra could learn a lot of good moves, like Psychic, obviously. In Gen 2, it could learn Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, which were special in that generation, so they were really good for Kadabra, because high special attack. So Stadium 2, Kadabra gets something to show you. He could do good stuff. Yeah, Kadabra, my favorite Psychic type of Gen 1. Number 3, Raticate. Yeah, the evolution of the very first normal type of Pokemon. Rattata. We have Raticate. I like Raticate. I suppose it's design that really does it, and the fact that it knows Hyper Fang. Especially this design. This is obviously the one that I first met. I like its stance. I like how it's like, I'm gonna bite your face off with my fangs. And Rattata could learn Hyper Fang quite early on, so Raticate will be like, I'm gonna bite your face off. And it's cool. You don't see Raticate in those games too often. All I remember is, I believe it's in, no, it's not in yellow, it has to be in red and blue. A rocket in Mount Moon with level 16 Raticate. I knew at that point already that Rattata evolved at level 20. And I was like, what? How does he have a level 16 Raticate? Cheat. How do you get it? Level 16 Raticate, that's special. He did something special. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get the Raticate, but yeah, I just had to wait until my Rattata was level 20. That was kind of sad, but you know, I like Raticate. It looks cool. And I believe in Generation 4, via breeding, it could learn Flame Wheel, which is really what brought Raticate more into my attention, because I like fire types, and Flame Wheel is my favorite fire type move. And then Raticate can learn Flame Wheel. It's still only a 60 base power move, but really, I just like Flame Wheel. So that made me like Raticate just that bit more. Number 2, Raichu. Yeah, electric types. I asked my brother to tell me something about his top 10 as well. He'd say, yeah, easy, Pikachu number 1. I like Pikachu, but I like Raichu a bit more. Raichu, I think, looks cooler. Obviously, Pikachu is that nostalgia factor for everyone. It's the anime Pokemon the most well-known Pokemon there is. I just like Raichu. Come on, just look at its face. It's so oogie boogie and snuggly and ooga bugga bugga bugga. You want to hug it and snuggle it and everything. But really, it's green spray. I don't remember ever seeing it before I made this, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of cute. It didn't exactly make me like Raichu more. I suppose one of the main reasons I really like Raichu was I suppose this is. I'm not going to go into detail about this because this is for a short story that I'll probably record either later today or tomorrow. But I had a Pikachu plush, and I had a Raichu plush that I got like a year after, and I really love that Raichu plush. And I took the Raichu plush with me when we were going shopping with my mom, and then half an hour later we came home, and then I realized the Raichu plush was gone, so we went back to the shop to find it, and we couldn't find it, and I haven't seen my Raichu plush since, and I really missed it. And the fact that I was so bummed about it for like weeks, so that showed how much I loved my Raichu plush. So I suppose that did something for me. Besides that, I think Raichu, like with his ears, one of the reasons his ears looks a little fancier than Pikachu, and I suppose I like the orange better than the yellow. So yeah, Raichu number 2. But then the question is, what Pokemon is number 1? We have Nidorino. Yeah, we already had Nidorino on the list, but I'm like, come on, Nidorino is my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. I suppose I can repeat some of the reasons for Nidorino. I caught it a lot, therefore used it a lot, and therefore used Nidorino a lot as soon as it evolved. It still had that super powerful horn attack, which it swept a lot of teams with. It could learn a good double kick, and its design, it just looks fancy. It's cool with his horn here in the front. I don't really like his yellow sprite too much, but especially the red and blue sprite, I really am a fan of that one. Looks scary, looks fierce, horn ready for horn attack, and I suppose his back sprite did help because a lot of the back sprites in red and blue and stuff that just really did not look well. Nidorino, I just really like that one as well. Nidorino is super cool. It looks fierce, and it's my number 1 favorite Pokemon in Generation 1. Right, that was the top 10 for Generation 1. Probably sometime soon I will make the same list. But then for Generation 2, leave in the comments what you thought would be in my Generation 1 list that didn't make it. Discuss some things about my choices. Tell me your favorite Gen 1 Pokemon and the reasons behind it. I'm really interested to hear that. And then I'm going to see you in Generation 2.